What is going on? Who are you?
I am Musa. I am Musa.
But they were calling you investor, partner, financier.
I come from a wealthy family. I own businesses across states, but I choose to live quietly for a while.
Why?
Once upon a time, there lived a 25-year-old man named Musa. Musa was an easygoing fellow. He was not one who talked too much. He was the kind of man whose presence you noticed only after he had passed. He was not disposed to making trouble, and even when trouble came calling, he met it with utmost calm. When people laughed at him, Musa did something unusual. He would look down for a brief moment, lift his head and look straight ahead and then walk away. His face always focused as though his eyes were fixed on something deeper, something greater than the moment. Most people in Kano did not see Musa as someone to be respected. To them, he was just another driver. But one thing was certain about him: his clothes were always sparkling clean. His shirts were neatly pressed, his trousers always well-fitted, never loud, never flashy. His shoes, though not expensive-looking, were clearly well cared for. They were simple black leather shoes that were always polished until they caught the light. Musa carried himself with grace, dignity, the kind that did not beg for attention, but the problem was that Musa worked for a woman who loved to look down on people. Her name was Zabello. Zabello was young, beautiful, and extremely rich. She came from a powerful family in Kano, one whose name opened doors before it was even spoken fully. She owned real estate and fashion businesses, and had connections that stretched from Abuja to Lagos and beyond. Wherever Zainab went, people straightened their backs. She dressed like money, wears designer dresses, used expensive perfumes that lingered in the air for hours, jewelry that sparkled under the sun. Her hair was always perfectly styled, her nails immaculate. From the outside, she was everything people admired, but beneath the beauty and wealth was a sharp tongue and a heart that enjoyed reminding people of their place. Zainab believed strongly that money defined worth. If you had it, you mattered. If you didn't, you were invisible, or worse, something to be laughed at. Drivers, cleaners, her gate men, she spoke to as though they were furnitures. Musa was her driver. Every morning, Musa arrived early. Before Zainab even stepped outside, the car was already clean, the interior smelling fresh, the engine checked. Musa stood by the door, dressed neatly, greeting her respectfully. "Good morning, madam," he would say calmly. Sometimes she responded. Sometimes she didn't. She often mocked him in subtle ways. "Musa, don't scratch my car. I know this is the most expensive thing you'll ever touch." Or, "Be careful, Musa, this perfume costs more than your monthly salary." People around laughed hearing her words, but Musa did not. He never argued. He never explained. He never defended himself. He simply did his job. And that bothered Zainab. Zainab expected shame. She expected insecurity. She expected Musa to lower his head permanently, but Musa instead walked with his shoulders straight up. He spoke softly but confidently whenever there was need for it. He never begged. Never flattered. Sometimes, Zainab caught him in the rearview mirror, his eyes steady, focused, unbothered. This irritated her. How can a driver be this proud? She once muttered to her friend Aisha. One afternoon, while returning from a social event, Zainab laughed loudly and said, "Musa, do you even understand the kind of people you drive?" Musa replied calmly, "Yes, madam. I understand." His tone was respectful, but something about it unsettled her. That was when the idea came to her. Zainab was planning a lavish house gathering, something between a party and a social display. Influential friends, business partners, politicians' wives, socialites were all invited. She wanted everything perfect. Then she smiled. "Musa," she said one evening, "I want you to attend my gathering tomorrow night." Musa looked at her through the mirror. "Attend, madam?" "Yes," she said casually. "You'll come as my guest. Don't worry, you can stand at one corner. It will be interesting." Her friends burst into laughter. They understood what she was doing. She wanted to embarrass him. Musa paused for a brief moment. "All right, madam," he said calmly. No show of surprise or anger. No hesitation. That response annoyed her even more. The night came. Zainab's mansion glowed with lights. Expensive cars lined the compound. Guests stepped out in flowing gowns and sharp suits, laughter filling the air. Zainab stood near the entrance, radiant, greeting guests proudly. Then a black car pulled up, not a flashy one. Just clean. Well kept. Musa stepped out. And for the first time, people really looked at him. He wore a perfectly tailored dark suit, simple, elegant. His shoes shone softly, not screaming luxury, but speaking quality. His hair was neatly trimmed, his beard groomed just enough. He stood tall, shoulders relaxed, head held high. He didn't look like a driver. He looked like a man who belonged anywhere he stood. The laughter slowly died. People whispered, "Who is that? Isn't that her driver? Why does he look like that?" Zainab froze. This was not what she expected. As Musa walked in, several guests nodded at him respectfully. One elderly man even paused and said, "Musa? Is that you?" Musa smiled slightly. "Good evening, sir." The man turned to Zainab, confused. "Zainab, you didn't tell me Musa was here." Her heart skipped. "Sir, you know him?" she asked. The man laughed. "Know him? This young man helped finance one of my biggest projects years ago." Silence fell. Zainab felt her chest tighten. Another man approached. "Musa, long time. I heard you stepped away from business." Musa nodded politely. "I needed a break." Zainab's legs weakened. Later that night, unable to contain herself, Zainab confronted him privately.
What is going on? Who are you?
She demanded.
I am Musa.
Musa looked at her
But
calmly.
they were calling you investor, partner, financier.
I come from a wealthy family. I own businesses across states, but I choose to live quietly for a while.
Why?
She asked, stunned. "Because I wanted to understand people," Musa replied. "To see how they treat others when they think they are above them." Her mouth went dry. "And you chose to be my driver?" She whispered. "Yes." Musa explained that after losing someone dear to him, wealth had lost its meaning. He stepped away from his world to live simply, to observe humanity without titles. "And I learned something," he said gently. "What?" Zainab asked. "That respect is not tied to position." Musa replied. "It is revealed by how you treat those you think are below you." Tears filled her eyes. Zainab remembered every insult, every joke, every time she looked down on him. "I invited you tonight to mock you," she confessed quietly. Musa looked at her, not with anger, but with calm understanding. "I know," he said. That hurt her more than anger would have. The party continued. But nothing felt the same to Zainab. Guests now approached Musa with admiration. Business discussions formed around him. Opportunities resurfaced. Zainab stood aside, watching. For the first time in her life, wealth felt small, and Musa? Musa remained calm, quiet, dignified as the night drew deeper. Musa prepared to leave. Zainab watched him walk away, head high, steps steady. She realized something frightening and profound. This was not the end of their story. It was only the beginning, because the man she mocked had seen her true self, and she did not know whether he would walk away forever or return to teach her a lesson money never could. After Musa left, while the music was still playing, people were still laughing, glasses were still clinking, Zainab felt as if the entire house had gone silent, and for the first time in her life, even though standing in a room full of
people, she felt very small. Zainab could not sleep that night. She lay on her large bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment she had ever spoken badly to Musa. Every careless joke, every dismissive tone, every time she treated him like he was invisible. The worst part was not that he had been rich all along. The worst part was that he had known exactly who she was and still stayed and played along. "He was watching me," she whispered to herself. Every single day, she remembered how Musa never reacted, never argued, never bowed his head in shame. At the time, she thought it was stupidity or fear. Now she understood, it was discipline. The next morning, Zainab woke up earlier than usual. Normally, Musa would already be waiting outside, standing beside the car, calm and prepared. But when she stepped outside, the driveway was empty. No car. No Musa. Her heart skipped. She checked her phone. No message. No missed call. For the first time since Musa had become her driver, she felt unsettled. At exactly 9 a.m., her phone rang. An unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Good morning, madam," Musa's calm voice came through. She exhaled without realizing she had been holding her breath. "Good morning," she replied, her voice softer than it had ever been with him. "Where are you?" "I won't be driving you anymore," Musa said gently. The words hit her chest. "Oh," she said, trying to sound composed. "I see." A pause followed. "But I came to return the car keys personally," he added. "I'm at the gate." When Zainab walked out, Musa was already standing there. This time, he wasn't dressed as a driver. He wore a colored shirt, neatly tucked, a dark trousers, and the same simple but elegant shoes he usually wears. He looked relaxed, like a man who had nothing to prove. She stopped a few steps away from him. "I owe you an apology," she said immediately, surprising herself. Musa looked at her calmly. "You don't owe me anything," he replied. "I mocked you." She continued. "I disrespected you." "Yes," he said simply. His honesty stung. "I was wrong," she whispered. Musa nodded, handed her the keys, and turned to leave. Panic rose in her chest. "Wait," she said quickly. He stopped. "Why did you choose to work for me?" she asked. Musa turned slowly. "Because people in power often reveal their true character when they think no one important is watching," he said. "And because I wanted to understand humility, both in others and in myself." She swallowed hard. "And what did you learn?" she asked. Musa looked at her for a long moment. "I learned that pride is loud," he said. "But dignity is quiet." Then he walked away. Days passed. Zainab noticed something strange. The staff no longer laughed as loudly around her. People no longer rushed to flatter her. It wasn't that they disrespected her, it was that her authority felt hollow. She began noticing how she spoke to people, the way she snapped, the way she dismissed. For the first time, she felt uncomfortable with herself. Meanwhile, Musa returned to a different life. Meetings resumed. Phone calls increased. Old partners reached out. But he did not rush back into the spotlight. Instead, he started something new, a transport company that focused on fair wages and dignity for drivers. Word spread quickly. Ironically, Zainab heard about it through her business circle. "Musa?" she asked one day during a meeting. "The Musa I know?" "Yes," a colleague replied. "Very principled man. Keeps a low profile." Zainab felt a strange mix of pride and regret. 2 weeks later, Zainab received an invitation. A small business forum. Private, selective. The name at the bottom caught her breath. Musa Abdullahi, host. She stared at the card for a long time. He was inviting her now. Not as an employer. Not as someone above him. But as an equal. The venue was modest but elegant, no loud displays. No unnecessary luxury. When Zainab arrived, Musa was already there, speaking quietly with a small group of people. When he saw her, he nodded politely. "Thank you for coming," he said. "Thank you for inviting me," she replied. They stood side by side, not as an employer and a driver but as two people trying to understand each other from a new place. As the discussion began, Zainab noticed something else. People listened when Musa spoke. Not because of his money but because of his presence. And she realized something deeply unsettling. For the first time in her life, she wanted to earn respect, not buy it. As the event progressed, Musa announced a new project, one that would change how transport workers were treated across the city. Investors leaned in. Questions followed. Opportunities opened. Zainab watched carefully. This was not the man she thought she knew. And Musa? Musa noticed her watching. Not with judgment. Not with pride. But with curiosity. Their story had shifted. No longer about mockery. No longer about disguise. But about what happens when truth rearranges power. and as the night deepened, one question hung silently between them. Was this the beginning of reconciliation, or the calm before a reckoning neither of them had fully prepared for? The room slowly emptied as the forum came to an end. Conversations within the gathering faded into handshakes, promises, exchanged contacts. Yet Zainab remained seated all through, watching Musa from across the hall. He was calm, exactly as he had always been. But now she understood that his calm was not the silence of someone beneath others. It was the stillness of someone who knew exactly who he was. When the last guest left, Musa finally turned to her. "You stayed," he said. "Yes," Zainab replied. "I felt like leaving too quickly would mean I learned nothing." Musa smiled faintly. "That is an honest answer." They walked outside together. The night air was cool, the city quieter than usual. "I owe you more than an apology," Zainab said after a long pause. "I built my life on power and money. I thought they made me superior." Musa stopped walking and faced her. "Power reveals character," he said. "It doesn't create it." She nodded slowly. "When I invited you to my house that night, I wanted to humiliate you. I wanted to feel bigger. And what did you feel instead?" Musa asked. Zainab swallowed. Exposed. For the first time, she laughed softly, not arrogantly, not mockingly, but honestly. "You were never pretending to be small," she said. "I was pretending to be large." Musa did not reply immediately. When he did, his voice was gentle. "People think disguise is about hiding wealth," he said. "But my disguise was about hiding judgment. I wanted to see people as they were when nothing is at stake." Zainab looked down. "And what did you see in me?" she asked. Musa met her eyes. Someone capable of change, but only if she chose it. Weeks passed. Zainab began changing, not loudly, not for applause. She started by apologizing to her staff. Some did not believe her at first. Some watched cautiously. A few forgave quickly. She began funding Musa's transport initiative, but quietly. No headlines. No interviews. One afternoon, Musa visited her office unexpectedly. "I heard you declined a business deal today," he said. "Yes," Zainab replied. "They wanted to underpay their drivers." Musa studied her face. "And you walked away?" "Yes, I did," she said. "Old me wouldn't have." He nodded. "Then you're learning." Not everyone was pleased with Zainab's transformation. Some of her wealthy friends distanced themselves. Others mocked her behind her back. "She's changed," they said. "She's become soft." Zainab heard it all, and for once, it didn't shake her. One evening, as she sat alone in her living room, thinking about how lonely power had been when it was built on pride, and how peaceful it felt now, even with fewer people around, her phone buzzed. A message from Musa. "Tomorrow, I'm handing over leadership of the transport company to the drivers themselves. Come if you want." She smiled. The next day, Zainab stood among drivers, men who once would have bowed nervously before her. Now they stood tall, confident, respected. Musa addressed them briefly. "This company was never about me," he said. "It was about proving that dignity is not tied to status." Then he stepped aside. The applause was not loud, but it was sincere. Zainab felt something tighten in her chest, and for the first time, she understood wealth that could not be measured. Later, as the crowd dispersed, Zainab walked beside Musa once more. "What will you do now?" she asked. "I'll continue quietly," he said. "The world doesn't need to know my name." She smiled. "I wish I had known earlier." He looked at her kindly. "But you know now." They stopped at the gate. "Thank you," Zainab said, "for seeing me, even when I didn't deserve it." Musa nodded. Everyone deserves a chance to see themselves clearly. He walked away, head high, step steady, just as he always had. Zainab watched him go, understanding something at last. Some people enter your life as mirrors, not to stay forever, but to show you who you are. And as she turned back toward her house, she knew her story, and his had not ended. It had simply grown deeper.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this beautiful story, please drop a like on the video and leave a comment on your favorite part of the story, moral lessons, and so on. on your notification bell so that you can get notified anytime a new and interesting video is released. If you believe in second chances, if you believe scars can become symbols of strength, share this story. Let it reach someone who's still fighting their past. Subscribe to my channel, Folktales by Queen Mother, for more real African stories that inspire, transform, and live forever in your heart. Please be rest assured that if you support me by liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel, you will always stay motivated. It has not been easy getting here, but I really appreciate all of you who always watch my videos to the end. It's a lot of hard work, days of sleepless nights before one of these videos you watch on this channel is produced. I am counting on your support always to take this channel to the top. Thank you once again for your unwavering love and support. God bless you all.